Rock Band is a game for anyone who's ever had that itch, that sort of just burning desire to become some kind of musician. It takes the guitar game, the karaoke game, and a drum game on top of all of that, and turns in one of the absolute best multiplayer experiences and one of the best party games you're going to find anywhere. The full Rock Band bundle comes with the game, a guitar controller, a microphone, and the drum kit setup. The guitar is a lot like the Guitar Hero guitars in that it uses the 5 fret buttons and a strummer. It's got a couple of little things like an extra set of fret buttons and an effects switcher, but otherwise it's basically the same functionality. The microphone is a microphone. You sing into it, occasionally you tap it to do tambourine parts, and otherwise it's a microphone. The drum part is actually probably the most interesting thing, since there's never really been a drum game like this in the North American market. It includes 4 colored pads, a kick pedal, and a set of drumsticks. The drums are probably the most intense and enjoyable part of the game, simply because they so directly mimic the actual art of drumming. On the hard and expert difficulty levels, you're pretty much playing the drum parts from these songs note for note. Now, if you've never played drums before, the easy difficulty is actually a pretty good starting point in that it just cuts out a lot of the notes and a lot of the drum fills. But if you actually play the drums and you start playing this stuff on hard and expert, you might even find yourself just a little bit flummoxed at how exact and precise a lot of the drum parts are. The only thing about the drums is that they might not be the most durable thing in the world. The pads themselves seem like they can take a pretty good beating, but the kick pedal actually snapped on us at one point. Granted, we have some other kick pedals and none of those ever broke, but there is a potentiality if you've got someone with a real thrashy foot that you could snap that thing in half. We also had one of the retail microphones come out of the box busted, and then it just would not register notes properly and kept cutting in and out, so that's something to watch out for as well. So the drumming is difficult, the guitar part is basically Guitar Hero, and the microphone involves karaoke like all the other karaoke games out there. That might not sound super special, but when you bring all these instruments together into one 4-player co-op game, something really magical comes out of it. This isn't like the co-op mode in Guitar Hero where, it sort of feels more like you're playing next to someone than with them. When you get into the multiplayer here, it's like you're actually playing as a band as much as you can within the context of a game. The drummer really does drive the music. If you have a bad drummer, you're going to screw up everyone else who's playing. If you have a good drummer, you can lock into a really nice groove, and it just makes even playing the bass kind of exciting at times. And that really is the sort of driving ethos of Rock Band. It is all about the cooperative multiplayer experience. It's about getting as many different people as you can together and just rocking out. It's meant to be accessible, which is why the difficulty level of the game kind of skews to a lower degree. Maybe not so much with the drums, but with the lower difficulties on vocals and most of the guitar difficulties. It's more about more people being able to play than it is about just extreme difficulty, which is kind of what the Guitar Hero series has become at this point. This feeling permeates the modes of the game as well. There's not really a real driving solo aspect to the game. There are solo careers for the guitar, the vocals, and the drums, but they're just the same kind of basic tiered career modes as in Guitar Hero. More interesting than that is the band World Tour, which is a 2 to 4 player cooperative career mode. You start out as just a basic scrub band with no money and no fans, and as you start to play gigs, you earn more fans, you get to travel around the world, get a tour bus, a jet, roadies, all the fun stuff that goes along with being in a band. The basic structure of the band World Tour has you starting out with just a couple of gigs and a couple of songs you can play. And as time goes on, you start to unlock more gigs, get more songs, and eventually start traveling all over the place and playing practically all the songs that are in the game. The one problem with that is that there aren't a lot of songs in the game. There are only 45 licensed tracks and 58 total, including the bonus songs. This does kind of make the mode sort of devolve into repetition, especially since there's really no end to the mode. Your whole goal is just to reach the Hall of Fame, and once you do, it just kind of keeps going. At least the track list is mostly really solid, and the vast majority of the songs are original master tracks from the original artists and not covers. There are a lot of big name hits in this game from bands like Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana, the Ramones, Black Sabbath, David Bowie, and the like. Spans a lot of different genres, a lot of different eras of rock, and there's a pretty nice variety there. Even the songs you don't know, they're still fun to play. It's just that, when you're getting into some of the harder areas of the band World Tour mode, it's really difficult to kind of have these songs come in that you just don't know the vocals for, or even have any sense of really what the rhythm is for them. The good news is that Rock Band plans to offer quite a bit of downloadable content over time. The only real bummer about the band World Tour mode is that you can't actually play it online. It has to be local multiplayer at this point. There is online co-op play for up to 4 players, but it's just quick play. It's just a quick match to get a high score, and that's about it. There is also some basic head-to-head play for each of the different instruments, but that's pretty standard stuff. It's fun, but not special. One of the coolest things about Rock Band is just the vibe you get from the game as you play. The whole thing really feels authentic in the way that it sort of presents the notion of you being in a band. Like, there's this whole character creation system that is a little bit goofy, but at the same time, all the outfits they give you are kind of awesome. Like, if you're way into creating a metal band, like, you can give them all these crazy gauntlets and giant pieces of armor and face paint and whatever kind of crazy crap you want to do. Admittedly, the barrier for entry with Rock Band is rather high. You need to be willing to pony up $170 for all the hardware and a game that is primarily very much multiplayer focused, meaning that if you don't have people you can bring over on a regular basis to play, it might not be quite as interesting. But if you do have the people to play with you, even if it's just one other person to rock along on the drums or the mic or the guitar, the game is just loads and loads of fun. As familiar as some of Rock Band's components might be, there's really never been a game quite like this one.